This is our first flight with the DJI Mini 5 Pro. I recently had a friend reach out and he asked, "Hey Ryan, what's it really take to fly a DJI product?" I just so happened to have picked up the Mini 5 Pro, so we checked it out. We had a safe takeoff and a little yaw spin to the right. And then we decided to zoom in on this tree here, and that's pretty quick using the right scroll wheel. Quick zoom in, quick zoom out. Overall, the first flight was pretty safe. Definitely pretty easy to use. Coming from an FPV background or just learning FPV, I think it's pretty interesting to fly a DJI product. One of the first features I wanted to cover with the DJI Mini 5 Pro, the Spotlight flight. As a reminder, this mode keeps the camera locked on the subject, but it does not make the drone follow. The aircraft hovers, flies as you pilot it, and the camera simply tracks the selected subject. Pretty useful when you want creative control of the flight, but still want the subject centered in the frame. As an example here, I'm pressing forward, and the gimbal is maintaining the subject. We're still using the spotlight function here, pressing forward, but we decided to add a distraction by having the one-wheel cruise by and see if the DJI Mini 5 Pro would shift from one subject to the other. It maintained focus on the selected subject. We didn't have any shifting concerns. In our next spotlight clip, we decided to see how the obstacle avoidance features would work if the subject walked into an area where it couldn't follow. We're going to attempt to fly the Mini 5 Pro into the garage and see if obstacle avoidance stops it from entering, which I'm glad it did. Didn't end up hitting the grill or any of the other things inside the garage. Alright, just a quick transition from Spotlight to using ActiveTrack to follow this one wheel up and down the drive. Facing this direction, you have full sensor capability, but when you make turns, I think this is where a lot of people get in trouble. The side of the Mini 5 Pro is what's facing the obstacles, the trees, the garages, whatever you're turning with. As your subject turns, the Mini 5 Pro decides to turn where it has less sensor coverage. As long as you're paying attention, as the pilot, I think it's pretty easy to use ActiveTrack. The track was really the best main follow-me tracking system. It locks on to the moving subject. It keeps the drone flying, keeps the subject in frame. ActiveTrack on the Mini 5 Pro, there's two primary behavior options. Auto mode and manual mode. With auto, it automatically adjusts the position and framing as the subject moves. It may reposition around the subject to get better angle without input from the pilot. Manual mode, you control where the drone flies, where it positions itself relative to the subject using the on-screen controls. quick shift into manual mode and sudden head it slide up and over to the right. And again, this is where I think a lot of people get in trouble. Through a tree and obstacle that we have there. The side of the Mini 5 Pro faces that, and you could easily fly right into a tree or the roof of the building. Here we're still using ActiveTrack, but we decided to try it in the dangerous direction, flying backwards, keeping the subject in focus. Reminder, there's no good center coverage when you're flying backwards, so it's pretty easy to fly right into an object or a tree if your subject makes a turn while using ActiveTrack in the reverse direction. Using ActiveTrack here, found it pretty easy to increase the altitude to let it shift from one position to the other. Limiting your altitude, keeping it low, makes it more difficult for it to fly ActiveTrack in auto mode. We have some obstacle avoidance shenanigans. I'm pressing forward trying to get it to fly into me. Of course, it doesn't, so instead of going up, I just lowered down. Flew right by. Easily recognized that the obstacle is no longer there. Another obstacle avoidance demo as I press forward and try to push it into the garage here. Obstacle avoidance quickly stops the Mini 5 Pro from going any further. Seems to be the end for Mini. We'll see if we can push this DJI into this tree. Small branches protruding from the tree. This obstacle avoidance stops me from going into the tree. I think it's important to fly in the modes that keeps all the sensors on. This can be a first flight for someone that's only flown micro whoops and tiny whoops in the past using the regular Master Pocket. It's never flown many DJI products or used the RC2. I think it's going to be pretty simple for him. Just kind of press forward and go up and down the back driveway here. But as a first-time pilot, I'm sure this can be pretty intimidating. Something I did notice, when flying line of sight here, it was pretty difficult for him to determine to look at the Mini 5 Pro or to look at the screen of the RC2 to see what it's doing, bouncing back and forth. I think when you're flying in close proximity is fine, but or as you make some distance, that focusing on the screen is what's imperative. It's pretty fun to watch his confidence quickly grow as he increases in altitude. Quickly yaw spins and starts moving the gimbal around. Let's chase this one wheel one last time using ActiveTrack. But this time let's go all the way around the block here. Make a few turns and see how this goes.